Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Secrets of the Sire. We do this every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc, and streaming live on facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. I am your host, Michael Dolce, as always, joined by my co-host, who remains off camera.
Settle down, man. You're a little too excited.
I'm very fired up right now.
Yeah, you're
I'm fired up because we have a jam-packed show tonight. Like, jam-packed.
Well, that should make you tired.
Well, okay, even better. We don't have to do any work.
Oh.
We have.
Oh, no. See, you didn't sell it to me like that.
It's true.
Because even I would have been fired up.
Yeah.
I would have been like, ah!
Yeah, we basically
walking around streamers and stuff.
Yeah, we need to just sit here and just allow.
I'm going to do that right now.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's pretty exciting.
You're going to ask me a question, I'm not going to answer you.
No, we don't need to. I mean, we have. So for anybody who's joining us, we have special guest Barry Josephson, executive producer of The Tick. It's going to be on Amazon Video Prime. It's on Friday, so we get him right before it comes out. So this is like before the slings and arrows of the internet can hit him.
Yes.
So he's like probably really upbeat and happy and chipper right now.
Hipster talk, that's a good get.
It's a great get. Right. It's better than like the week later when they're like, yeah, the Tick's ears, or the antenna weren't exactly 5 inches tall.
One wasn't bent forward like it does in the cartoon, and therefore the entire experience was just useless to me.
I feel like he's like a happy, naive.
There's a lot of compliment
producer.
sandwiches on the internet. Like the internet is the connoisseur of compliment sandwich, and it's really not even it's a half sandwich.
No,
it's a compliment like half wedge, right? Because it'll be like, I really enjoy Mike Dolce's work, but and everything after the butt, it's an entire.
See, I feel like it's completely different, right? I feel like it's
a checklist.
It's like a shitty Chinese buffet, is what that is. It's like you just get there and there's just tons of plates, and half of them are just bad, and then you go to the owner and like, hey, this is really bad. F you, get out of my room.
You think that's
that's the internet?
Well, okay, the internet itself is probably like that, but everybody all the commenters are the people who eat there.
This is true.
And they're okay, and they're the ones who do a lot of compliment wedges.
Yeah,
like this is this tiramisu.
While I appreciate
would be good,
the cleanliness of your establishment.
Yeah, exactly.
The food is
starts out
uneatable
with an almost superlative, and then it just goes into crap.
Yeah, you have the best decorations of any restaurant on the block.
However,
even
though I eat here every night, yeah, exactly. Next week I want to come back and vomit a little less than I vomited tonight.
Yeah. So we got Barry Josephson coming on in segment 2. Segment 3, we've got American Pie's Thomas Ian Nicholas, who unfortunately is flying to Wizard World Chicago as we speak. He is literally on a plane.
He's on the plane right now.
Right now. I will be on a plane.
How did you do that?
I know, it's amazing, right? Yeah, it's the mystery of podcasting. Plus a very enormous cell phone bill he's going to be paying.
It's not our problem.
In segment 3 , but yes,
we don't got to pay, right? We didn't make a deal to pay, right?
No.
Okay, good.
We don't make any money.
We got scammed that one time.
We have no money. We are losing every second we are on the air. We are losing money. Just remember that.
We got scammed that one time when we tried to interview Trump.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
That didn't even air. We didn't even air that.
No.
We didn't even air that.
No, and it wasn't.
He back-charged us.
It was just some guy on the street corner with a Trump
wasn't
mask.
Trump at all. Right. I was fooled. I'm sorry.
There was some fact-checking that went into that.
No more Guinness before the show.
Yeah.
Okay?
Or just one. So Thomas Ian Nicholas is going to join us in segment 3.
Mask. And I'm like, present.
Sorry. Just totally jam-packed show. So before we get into it, though, again, we talk comics, movies, TV, pop culture every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, talkradio.nyc. 877-480-4120 if you're listening to us live. If you're listening to us after the fact, well, that's good too. We don't mind. I don't care how you listen to us. Just listen to us. Awesome Kickstarter announcement. The Sire doing really, really well right now.
Yes,
we blew through our stretch goal. We have a super announcement that I'll be making tomorrow.
I contributed and didn't get a thank you.
Well, yes, you were guest 557-67731.
I was number 25,
you were
according
guest number 25, yeah.
Yeah, I was the 25th person, and I didn't get any appreciation.
You are also going to be the cover artist on the New York Comic Con variant edition. So look for those announcements tomorrow.
Yes.
We're going to put up a new stretch goal. I didn't realize we'd get to the stretch goals this quickly, but it doesn't matter. We're going to announce both things.
Real fast.
We're going to announce both everything.
I'm. You know what? I'm actually honored to be able to contribute, and I'm looking forward to collaborating on that level, because collaborating here on the show sucks.
Yeah,
so hopefully
I agree with that. I do agree with that. That was the Chinese buffet you just dished out there.
Exactly.
That was pretty good.
However,
but before we get the Tick guy on, before we get American Pie guy on,
here we go.
I do have to give a little kudos to myself for being a prognosticator.
Hit in the face. What kind of nonsense is okay?
That was that was my Chinese buffet.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
We didn't even plan to do this. Last week we were actually supposed to talk about Defenders, right? We were going to hype up Defenders,
and then this
give
week
our predictions.
we were supposed to talk about Defenders.
Well, and then we got jam-packed.
Kind of the reaction to it.
And then we got
you jam-packed the episode.
I know. And then we jam-packed. But
don't jam-pack.
Last week we were actually talking about Justice League being unwatchable, and it spun out into this whole Joss Whedon. Is he a fake feminist? Is he a good writer? Is he any and all these things? And it was really bizarre because then his ex-wife actually posts a scathing essay, literally. A few days later, claiming that Joss Whedon is a feminist.
like a petty child.
No. You sent the Casey Affleck story. Which also
that was from Christina.
I sent you.
Yeah. Someone else sent that to me. Then
I
got
very
my
prepared.
parties muddled.
Yeah. So apparently, for the wrap, Kai Cole, who is a talk show host on this station, which I thought was very fascinating. She's completely hiding an entire double life, and apparently she's also 20 years older than what she appears to be. She's very young.
You just blew her up. Just blew her spot up.
I guess a different Kai Cole, who recently divorced Whedon after 16 years of marriage, wrote that Whedon is a hypocrite preaching feminist ideals. Cole, a producer and actress herself, revealed that Whedon had both physical and emotional affairs. I love the emotional affairs part. That's
awesome.
I'm having an emotional affair with you.
I have emotional affairs all the time.
I know.
Yeah. I didn't think that was an actual insult to other people, but I'm a terrible.
Well, you're not cheating on somebody. So
I'm cheating on people. If you can do that emotionally, I'm cheating on you right now.
This is
because I'm thinking about someone else.
You're thinking about Peter, our sometime staff writer who happens to be here. Hi, Peter. Yeah. See, I see what your game is all about.
Yeah, he's any port in the storm, man. Anyone who's close by.
Whedon has been lauded by the public as a feminist ally since he created the TV series Buffy the Vampire Slayer in '97. Since then, Whedon has used his platform to talk about feminism and the importance of men getting involved in the movement. According to Cole, Whedon had his first affair during their first year of marriage while he was on the set of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Let me ask you a question, though.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll listen.
Because I'm not going to get into what I don't want to do here. I don't want to get into his personal life. Did he cheat? Did he not cheat? Obviously, he did, apparently, which the lesson here is, even after you're getting a divorce, don't say anything because it's gonna blow up on the internet if you do. So if you're Joss Whedon, we'll make that disclaimer.
There's stuff about me on the internet all over the place.
Right. No one cares right now.
Exactly.
Right now.
Yeah, well.
Just wait. 5 years from now, you're going to be like...
No one's going to know who the Lord of the Radio is.
Well, this is very true. His name is Hassan Godwin. He lives on Gun Hill Road in the Bronx. And,
stop it. All right, so you're saying...
I don't want to get into the he said, she said, because...
I do. I want to...
I hate the guy. Oh, yeah? You want the gossipy stuff?
Yeah, no, but...
No, and the reason I'm not going to do that is there's... Right now, she wrote an essay, and it's completely her side. She's hurt, obviously.
Obviously, there's two sides to every story.
He has admitted to the cheating to her, which, again, say what you will. I mean, that is what it is.
Right.
Let's get into the crux of the argument, though. Can someone's work be separate from their personal lives? And I think that is an overarching question, and we encourage everybody who's on our Facebook feed right now, chime in. Do you have to like the person? Does the person has to be a good person behind the scenes to enjoy his work?
If someone can have a prevailing ideology, even if they don't live the lifestyle of that ideology.
Right, even if they don't live up to it,
the answer,
in a creative field.
The answer to that, sadly, is yes. They can believe in one way and act a completely different way.
Yes.
Which sort of exonerates him, but it doesn't necessarily mean that just because he was a womanizer doesn't mean he wasn't a feminist.
Right.
Right? Or he might be he might have a warped sensibility of what feminism
Sure.
is, and said, "Well, I love women, so obviously I'm a feminist."
He's taking the Wonder Woman creator Marston approach.
Exactly.
I love women so much I'm marrying 2 of them.
Well, the thing about it is that like his work, which is what my main complaint was.
Sure.
His work doesn't display the kind of idealized feminism.
Yeah.
That supposedly he gets credit for.
Well, before we get into that
I know
discussion, let me ask you a
ahead.
different question then, because this is the other question that I had. And I'm going to say question as many times as humanly possible before I actually ask it.
Yeah, I know. I started blocking you out.
Do you feel that he has gotten his acclaim because of said ideology? In which case, then I say, you know what? There's something wrong there. Hear me out. When if somebody, not a guy, if a creator comes forward and says, I'm creating this because I believe so strongly in something, and people latch onto it, not necessarily because it's the best thing they've ever read, seen, heard, or whatever, but they're behind the message so much that now all of a sudden the work itself gets raised to a level that it might not have been had it been about a different topic. You know what I mean? Like had it been about something else. And do we feel that he kind of latched onto the feminism to kind of catapult his career? In which case, the double life does
I don't know.
pose a problem.
I know for a fact he got famous because Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right? He did a movie called Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Didn't go exactly over it too well. He claims, which having seen the movie, I can kind of agree with.
Sure.
It didn't come out to his specifications. They did a TV show about it. I remember I was working at Acclaim Comics at the time, and I was like, "They're going to do a TV show of that terrible movie."
I know. I thought the same thing.
So the movie.
I remember the place I was literally driving. I could paint a picture of exactly where I was when I heard it on the radio.
Really?
Buffy the Vampire. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Continue.
But so the show comes out and the show is kind of a hit.
Yeah.
The show is a hit. Even I like it. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's how far back that was.
Yeah.
Because I smiled a couple of times. And I think the show became a hit before anybody knew who Joss Whedon was, who the creator was.
Right.
Especially that was back in the day before like the overblown internet,
yes,
where we only knew the product. We didn't really know the creators. The creators were like these phantom people that lurked behind whatever product that we were enjoying. So I would say he had to have gotten famous off of Buffy before we knew who he was, what he was, and whatever his ideology was. So I don't think that his self-professed feminism is what propelled him to stardom, because at that time in the 90s, it had to be the work that got you there. Yeah. So that we cannot claim that he is famous because he claimed he was a feminist. It was actually his work that got him where he was.
Whose other work was really, really exciting was Ben Edlund. I'm going to butcher his name as well too, which I just did. And we got a great guest, and he's coming up next. Barry Josephson from The Tick. It's going to be on next. We're going to dive into this, but we'll leave you with this before we go to commercial. We are predictors of the future. We argue Joss Whedon before Joss Whedon even became a big thing. You know? That's it.
And you were wrong.
I was absolutely correct. When
also,
we come back, The Tick.
Next week, there's going to be an article about how the prequels rock.
Oh. Winning. Thomas Ian Nichols.
Winning.
We go into that as well when we come back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan
and Priya.
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo! What's that?
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
We talk comics, movies, TV, pop culture, all the stuff that you love, and we do it right here.
Stuff that makes the girls run away.
Oh, well, clearly. No. That is completely false.
Stuff that makes the girls.
That
leave.
is completely
I recommended
false.
Secrets of the Sire on my show, and I got less female listeners.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the
look at that,
Sire. We
That's
talk
nice.
comics, movies, TV, pop culture every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. We do it on talkradio.nyc. We also stream it live, facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. As always, your host, Mike Dolce, with Hassan Godwin.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you right
I
now,
was
who is
supposed
the
to
Lord
get
of the
some water
Radios.
during the break, and I didn't.
No, that was
Just sat here like a lazy jerk.
It was a poor move on your part.
Yes, it was.
It was a poor
Yes,
move.
and I'm paying for it. Paying for it right now.
So I got to tell you right now, when we got news we were getting this guest, I was like super excited, and I'm still super
and I was
excited.
like, dude, calm down.
I
Like,
know.
We're in
I
a
know.
restaurant.
But, you know, it's just, this is the fun part about doing a show like this, though, is that we get to talk to people involved in characters we love, comics we love. And so, without further ado, I don't think there's no compliment sandwich coming there. That's just a total compliment.
No,
I want to
no,
welcome.
There's
back.
no but.
There's
so
no
it's
but.
fine.
There is no but. We are big Tick fans, and we're really excited. Mr. Barry Josephson, executive producer of The Tick, coming to Amazon Prime Video this Friday. Welcome to the show.
Hello, gentlemen. I'm so excited. I was just listening to your previous segment. So good.
Well,
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Wow,
Did you
we're
guys
just-
ever read the graphic novel of Men in Black?
I have read the first issue because we are actually, Hassan and I go back to when Wizard magazine was still around, right? So
Right, yeah,
we
absolutely.
had the library of books that you could get, and you know when Men in Black was a big movie, they had the copy
Bart
of issue
Sears,
1.
right? He did the.
Yeah.
Bart Sears did
Because
the.
I developed that as a studio executive and made that movie. Lowell Cunningham. I just talked to him like about a month ago. Such a good guy. And so, you know, I'm such a comic book geek myself, which is how, you know, I wound up, you know, in business with Ben Endlin, which is the greatest thing that ever happened because I just love his work so much. And The Tick is like a privilege to work on just because it's such a unique voice.
It's a privilege to talk about it, and I don't know. Did you steal my show outline? Because that segues right into my first question.
Sorry.
No. This is no. We love segue. We're big segue fans.
Yeah, we're
we like anything that takes the
champions of
work
the segue.
away from us. Anything we don't have to do work.
Yes.
We like. So
we like.
this is good.
And we're fans of smooth
So I help,
transitions.
I
So.
So you sit Ben Edlin down. You tell him it's time for a new Tick series. How does that go over? And how do you convince him to bring it back?
Honestly, that was probably the one good thing I did. It was literally the thing that I did. I actually took Ben to coffee in L.A. and said, look, I think it's time to do this. We really should. The Marvel Universe has expanded so well, so great. And there's humor there in the films. And, you know, I love Iron Man, and I really love Guardians of the Galaxy, and Deadpool was a clincher. And, you know, I hadn't seen Deadpool yet. It hadn't come out yet, but you know, I'd gone to Ben like in 2013 and said, I think you really, you know, you're the great voice that's, you know, undiscovered now on television. And so I sort of begged him to do it. At first he said no, because he couldn't quite, you know, get his arms around live action. But then I thought, you know, and I sort of presented to him the films that were out there. And I think he finally came around to realizing, you know what, we could do this. And the only thing I sort of said to him was, look, I'm going to support you being the showrunner. You have to be the center of this universe. And that's how we'll do it better and differently than we did in the past. And he's evolved so much, you know, as a writer for television that, and honestly, it really was time. Like, everything came together at the right time because Ben's now written on a lot of television shows. And I think, you know, again, timing was perfect.
Is that how you guys kind of hooked up originally? Is just being in the same like writer circles? And I know a lot of TV producers and TV writers tend to, you know, I'm a big like behind the scenes geek. I'm always like, oh, that's the producer,
Sure.
that's the guy, he was on Buffy, and oh, that was the producer. Oh, and my wife is always like, just watch the show. But you know, so did you guys connect that way? And one other question that you kind of said was, do you think that the previous incarnation of Tick, they weren't listening to him, or do you think that it was, what happened with the previous incarnation that you think you can do?
Well, first of all, I'm a non-writer, so my gift is to find great talent.
Mm-hmm.
And, on other TV series I've done, whether it was Bones or Turn Washington Spies, it's all about, for me, finding that really great voice. And films that I've worked on, the same thing. So, Ben, to me, is a great, unique voice. And, that's why I went back to him. The original show that we did for Fox, no, he had not evolved yet as, a top television writer. He had done, he had created the comic, he had created the animated show, but he had not yet written for scripted television. So, the process became sort of overwhelming. He was not the showrunner.
Yeah.
There were many writers in the mix. There was a filmmaker, Barry Sonnenfeld, also in the mix.
Yep.
And so it was sort of one of the situations where there are too many voices and a network, too, that didn't quite know what the show was.
Sure.
So I don't think we ever put our right foot forward.
Okay.
And it certainly wasn't Ben's foot that walked forward. So we, now in this incarnation, Ben is the showrunner. He chose the other writers to work with.
Okay.
He found a great partner in David Fury, who'd written on Buffy and Angel, and he had worked, they'd worked together on another show. So this sort of felt like the right formula. And then the show that we've produced, I think we're all really proud of. And this is truly sort of Ben's version of the show. We've all just been there to support this version of the show.
Very cool. And you actually mentioned again a wonderful segue. This is uncanny. It's like you're reading over my shoulder. David Fury, he's one of my favorites. I mean, he was big with Buffy. Obviously, he was on 24. I mean, he's a real winner when it comes to scripted television in this genre of action, fantasy, superhero, whatever you want to call it. Did you recruit fans of the Tick? Like, how did you guys get your writers together and your producers together?
Well, it really was a matter of Ben and David getting together, deciding what the show was, and everybody they hired, Jose Molina, Susan Hurwitz, they were all writers that, Mark Gannick, a staff that were fans of the Tick, fans of Ben's work, and, writers that we'd read and thought could write the show. It's, again, when you work for a showrunner like a Joss Whedon or Judd Apatow or, a showrunner where you're working, and you're sort of trying to execute that person's specific voice, that's not the easiest task in the world to do. And so, we had to find people who could execute, scripts and, that were, sort of according to what Ben does best.
Sure.
And I think we did that. We put together a really solid staff, and, Amazon ordered 12 episodes of the show, 11 after the pilot. That was their sort of biggest order, I think, at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to really go for it. And we started shooting in March, and we just finished in July. And the first 6 shows debut on August 25th. It's been a whirlwind, but a lot of work in a very short amount of time.
So I can hear my wife in the background telling me to stop asking about producers. Talk about the show. Give me the world of the story. She's not actually here, but I can, I don't know if you're married, but you can hear your significant other.
I am.
Yeah, you can hear your significant other in the back of your head.
Absolutely.
Ask about the show. Give us the world of the story. How does it compare to the cartoon and the previous incarnation? Are we, obviously we have Tick. We have some of the familiar faces. We have Tick. We have Arthur. We have Dot. Yeah, go into that. I'd love to know where we're getting in on this.
The Tick and Arthur are front and center, as they have been in previous incarnations, but this version is a more grounded version, and it's also a more grounded version of 2 specific things. It is Arthur and his journey, very much front and center, and the Tick, and who is the Tick? Who is this creature, the Tick? The show, in its first 6 episodes, really focuses on that, and then there are many, known characters before, Arthur's sister Dot.
Yep.
But then there's new characters that, Ben created and Ben and David created for this version.
Okay.
Overkill. The Terror is back.
Yeah.
Played by Jackie Earle Haley, and he's fabulous. I mean, I think it's just the best incarnation of the Terror.
Sure.
Miss Lint.
Yeah.
Is a wonderful character, played by Yara Martinez, and she's just fabulous. And so there's lots of new characters, lots of new invention in this version of the show that Ben just, spent a good part of 6 weeks prior to us, prior to anybody putting pen to paper, just mapping out, who these characters would be and how they would function in the new series. It really is a very different version of the Tick. But for people who are fans,
sure.
It's interesting when we went to Comic-Con, it was so interesting. People really loved, what they saw, and they liked the new characters. And, so it felt like we'd done the right thing. And I think casting-wise, too, we were really blessed.
Well, I was going to say, Jackie Earle Haley, that's a great, when I made the connection, I was like, wow, what a great choice. How has his presence on set been so far in terms of just, in terms of his role and everything?
He's a total pro. He's really great at what he does. And a really unique thing, too, is, Ben's a really interesting guy. Like, he'll sort of say, here's who I really want, and he sort of laughed. He said, Jackie Earle Haley, we'll never get him. And when we called Jackie Earle Haley, it turned out he was a fan of the show and got his first choice.
Wow.
Peter Serafinowicz, who's...
I'm glad you said the name. I would butcher that name, so I'm glad you said it.
So am I.
Yeah, there you go. I'm saying it the best that I can. But he's joined us, and he's awesome because his comedic presence is amazing. His work, if you look on his website, the kind of invention that he does, the different characters he creates and makes up. And, we realized in Peter we had a new creative partner, not just the guy that we thought could play the Tick very differently, but, somebody who was tall and a booming voice, and yet there was a lot of nuance to his performance. And, Griffin Newman also was just, I think, the best version of Arthur. He was such a fan of the Tick, he couldn't even believe that this was happening to him. I still think he can't believe it.
Oh, man, that's awesome. One more question, and then we're going to do a little fun game. Why no Deflator Mouse at American Made? Hassan and I were both talking about the cartoon show. We were big fans of the cartoon show, and they were really central characters. Any particular reason to kind of omit them in this version?
Yeah, I think, Ben has a relationship with New England Comics where some of these things are things that he controls, some of the things they do. And I think he's trying to parse them out. He's trying to, really, like, for example, with the Terror, give the audience something that they maybe knew of before, and in time we'll roll out some of those other characters. Like when we go to Comic-Con, we have heard about American Made, we've heard about Chairface Chippendale. So potentially in seasons to come, he will, listen to the audience and I think do his best to pay proper homage to those characters.
Okay, very cool. All right, we're going to play a little fun little segment. It's called Fill in the Blank. You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Boy, I'm going to fail.
No. These are good. We're going to stay away from trivia.
I'm out at dinner. I had 2 glasses of wine. This could be a disaster. Go!
Well, actually, we have, in previous shows, if you listen, we've determined that 2 is the limit.
Yes.
Anything over 2, you're in trouble.
Stuck to just 1 today.
Yeah, I think you'll be in good... Well, yeah, we definitely drink before the show. I mean, you kind of have to. All right. If Jackie Earle Haley were to get into a fight with Brendan Hines, in real life, the winner would be...
I think it's going to be Brendan Hines.
Oh.
He's younger and a little bit more virile.
All right, give it to the young guy.
In the series, though, I don't know. The Terror is pretty formidable.
There you go. I like it. If you could cast Ben Affleck in any cameo on the show, he would be...
Batman, with maybe, you have to bone up on his Spanish.
If the Tick was your drinking buddy, he would order What?
Okay, if Tick were my drinking buddy, who would order?
He would order
would I
what?
order for him?
What would he order?
Okay. Oh, boy. I think that I would try to order a stiff drink for the Tick because I'd want to see what happened to the antenna. I think I'm going to go for a straight bourbon or, maybe an Oban whiskey and just see what happened to the antenna.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
I like this. All right, we're going to get political. It's going to be very dicey. In the 2016 presidential election, Arthur voted for...
Arthur voted for, I would think, Hillary Clinton.
Okay.
Sure.
Jill Stein.
Yes.
we made a bet. We thought it was Jill Stein.
Yeah.
All right, last question. This is a very easy question for you.
Go.
I don't need a fork. I don't need a knife. I need a... Barry, thank you so much for joining us.
That was a layup, guys. That was a layup.
Well, we always try to end on a high note. That's what it always comes. We were in a band for years together, and we had a guitar player, and he always used to say, "It doesn't matter what you do during the show, just don't mess up the last song."
Awesome. All right, thanks, guys. I really appreciate this.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. You've been a great
look
guest.
Forward to the show, August 25th. Thanks.
August 25th, The Tick. That was Barry Josephson. Just great guests in general. And we have another great guest coming up next. We have Thomas Ian Nichols. We don't have to do anything today.
Yeah, I'm asleep.
When we come back.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
If you have an interest in marijuana, you want to know about marijuana, law, policy, and culture, then feel free to join me, Joseph A. Bondi, every Friday at 11 o'clock in the morning on my show In the Know 420 on TalkingAlternative.com.
Legalize the herb to continue to resist the passage of this necessary legislation.
Hi, this is Rob Kay.
And I'm Callie Alpert.
And we're hosts of The Rob and Callie Show. Are you looking for a show that talks about real stuff like life, love, the pursuit of being yourself?
Then you have come to the right place because we cover topics ranging from chivalry to gratitude to your relationship with money and everything in between.
So listen to us on The Rob and Callie Show Tuesdays, 8 to 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on talkradio.nyc.
Talking Alternative Radio, 24 hours a day.
So we got Spider-Man Homecoming.
It's a big deal now, isn't it? Spider-Man.
Opening weekend doesn't count. Let's see what the drop-off is from week to week.
That's fair. Part of what I said was right, though.
I will acknowledge that. I didn't disagree with that. I didn't disagree that everyone would be...
You disagreed with pretty much everything I said last week.
But that's what makes a good show.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. Do you know I actually almost started singing the lyrics to that song? I was ready. Oh, it's time.
We're doing a show.
I'm living a past life 10 years ago.
I would have been like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Get back on the clock.
I gotta thank our guest once again, Barry Josephson. That was
fantastic,
tremendous,
fantastic.
And his credentials. I didn't get to ask him the Space Jam question.
Yeah, I wanted to ask him some questions about Turn, which I really got.
We're gonna have to have him back.
They just
on
had
the
their
show.
last season, so I just wanted to, we'll have to.
We're gonna have him back on the show.
Send him some.
We'll send him like a gift
box
basket.
of chocolates.
Yeah, gift basket. Gift baskets are always good.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
geek basket.
It's so funny. Last week we had no guest, and it was just us kind of free-forming and freestyling. Yep. This week we have two guests, and they're both like really huge, which makes us feel very proud that we are doing something right. Right?
Yeah. You can't argue.
You can't.
I had a joke, but then I didn't.
but then you realize, it's better off to just let the guests.
It would have been a
do the
bad
talking.
joke, so I just let it go.
So Thomas Ian Nicholas, you know him from American Pie.
Yes.
You know him from Rookie of the Year. He's actually produced a whole bunch of horror films as well too. He's done.
He's been a little busy.
Yeah, he's definitely a great guest. He is en route to Wizard World Chicago, where I will be as well too. So anybody who wants to find me on the show floor, I'll be wandering Thursday and Friday.
I will be home.
And Wizard World Chicago was always our favorite show
was.
back in the day. So I'm pretty excited. So we actually recorded this interview with him yesterday, so that I pulled the curtain over that. But really, just a great interview, and here we go. Let's run it.
All right, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, terrific. So, hey, thank you so much for taking some time. Love having you on the podcast, on the show, and definitely a fan of work. So it's exciting to see this. Let's start with the fact that you'll be at Wizard World Chicago all weekend long. You'll be there from Thursday to Sunday, this coming weekend. You've kind of actually done a couple of the Wizard shows. How did you kind of get into the Comic-Con tour, and what's been your experience so far?
Well, yeah, I am sort of on a Wizard World tour, and it's been a lot of fun. I got involved initially because I have a new film project that I'll be shooting later this year called Handbook For Mortals. And so we partnered up, like a loose sort of partnership with them to do exclusive pre-sales of the book version of the movie, which actually just came out last week, August 15th. And so we, kind of started in Philly and went to Sacramento and Columbus, and obviously we have Chicago, and we've got about 12 more this year in various parts of the country.
Very cool.
Yeah, so it's been a great experience. I started doing my first Comic-Cons back in 2012, right around the time that American Reunion came out. And it wasn't necessarily what I expected it to be, so I had a great time with it. It was an opportunity to meet people that had enjoyed my work and kind of meet them where they live, as opposed to, I could imagine being that I still get starstruck, that you probably think, like, if you live, in I guess Columbus, Ohio, like, oh, I'm never going to be out in LA and see a person that I've enjoyed their work. So that opportunity, and it's really cool. It's a cool moment to meet face to face with someone that likes what you did.
Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Have you had any crazy fan encounters?
I mean, I'm no crazier than I have in my normal life. And no crazier than anyone really has. I mean, let's face it, the world is filled with every type of person, and we have all met every type of person. It's the same way that people relate to all the characters of American Pie. They went to high school with a person that was like each of those people.
Sure.
And I'm sure you've had your fair share of experiences with crazy people as I have.
Absolutely.
Our jobs have, very little to do with the fantasy of the world.
That's a very good way to put it. What has been, is there any particular costume that has struck you? Because that's the big thing at the shows now. The cosplay has really taken off in the last 5 years or so. And I mean, the costumes went from, your typical fat Spider-Man to just intricately designed costumes. And was there anything that you can recall that kind of blew you away costume-wise?
I mean, I've been a Star Wars fan since before it was cool to be a Star Wars fan. And so, I mean, this is like back in the day. Like I've been a Star Wars fan before I did even episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then lost a lot of Star Wars fans. So I'm always excited to see anything Star Wars related, and I've seen some amazing like C-3POs and Chewbacca's and R2-D2 builds and all that stuff. In regard to other things, probably the funniest one that I saw is I never anticipated that anyone would turn any of my films into cosplay.
Sure.
American Pie and Rookie of the Year. Well, I kind of turned Rookie of the Year into cosplay because I always bring a Rowan Gardner jersey and a Cubs hat. And so I can kind of go into my Henry Rowan Gardner cosplay mode. But I've never seen an American Pie one. So I was at a con a while back, and these two kids, who must have been only like 15, showed up dressed in like Jason Biggs sort of clothes, and they had some pie tins appropriately placed, if you will. I've got little ears listening. My son's 10 feet away from me, and my daughter's right here. So yeah, trying to explain that one in a PG way.
Enough said. So I got a million questions out of that one comment, though. My co-host is a prequel supporter. Loves the prequels. I am a... they're not very good movies, in my opinion. What is your take? Where do you fall on the prequels, spectrum in terms of the Star Wars universe?
You know, that's a loaded question, dude. We all know we're fans of the original. You know, I'll put it to you this way: when I showed my son Star Wars, I showed him the first Star Wars first.
Excellent. Okay.
Which is the first Star Wars, and will always be the first Star Wars.
Okay. And that actually helps me because we actually had this conversation. Who do you show it? You know, do you show it in the 1, 2, and 3? So it's 6 order. But I'm leaning toward doing exactly what you did.
Yeah, I also do everything I did. I mean, I did eventually show him, 1, 2, and 3 just because. I think at the time, I was watching a lot of, made for like kids films, and they all had like girl leads.
Yeah.
And I kind of like the only reason I ended up kind of bending and dipping into those was because you have Anakin, as sort of the kid hero as a little boy. So that was sort of like the straw that broke the camel's back for me after like a craze of Frozen. Like watching my son sing Let It Go, I was like, "Why? I'm gonna show you episode 1."
Talking about the books that you mentioned, you kind of briefly mentioned before, but the books that are being turned into films now, I'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
Sure, yeah. The project is called Handbook For Mortals. So the idea is this is book 1 of the series that just came out last week, and then we'll be making film 1 later this year. And then obviously, there'll be more books and more films. The story is about a young woman who moved to Vegas to join a magic show, and it turns out she can do real magic.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, if you think like a magic show, like a David Copperfield type of show.
Sure.
But then no one really knows that, she's capable of real magic. They just think she's a good illusionist. And so there are also a number of other projects that I've been producing recently that are coming out soon as well. One of them is The Lost Tree, which gets released into select theaters on Friday the 13th in October.
Cool.
With Michael Madsen and Lacey Chabert. So I produced and started that one. It's a drama thriller with a tinge of horror. And then another one called Living Among Us, which is a straight-up horror vampire film. It's unfortunately John Hurt's last movie.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
And it also stars William Sadler, and then I produced it, and so I'm in it as well in both of those. So that comes out in January. A couple things from that. I mean, you were in Hollywood, Halloween Resurrection in 2009. Is it kind of along that lines? Are you a big horror fan? Are you drawn to that kind of work? I was excited to be part of what I would consider one of the original sort of horror franchises, the Halloween franchise. I think it's one of those things where I have right now I have 2 production companies. So one production company sort of focuses solely on those genre-specific things. The business partner there, he definitely grew up more in that world and is more of like a super fan of that. I definitely dig it. It's one of those things where, my forte is drama, but I love the dramatic aspects that exist in that, which is kind of a surprise, I think, for me, considering that I'm known more for comedy.
You're right.
It seemed like a great way, because I've done some dramatic work as well, but it seemed like a great way to introduce the dramatic side of my acting ability.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So going back into your filmography a little bit, you mentioned Rookie of the Year. You know, I know you kind of were tied into the Chicago Cubs run last year. You know, how did it feel to have played the iconic, you know, character and to actually see the Cubs finally win it?
It was amazing to Game 4 of the World Series and watched us lose. And of course, you know, back from behind. And then, you know, it was an amazing moment when the Cubs, almost like a movie moment, the way it all happened.
Sure.
Tied in the ninth, or decided extra innings, and you know, rain delay, and they couldn't have stretched it out any farther. You know, and it was only that 20-minute rain delay, just 20-minute rain delay, just enough for dramatic pause. I actually heard a rumor, which I haven't officially verified, but Anthony Rizzo, who of course was team captain in the series, supposedly made it a rule in the locker room that when the Cubs were down in the series, the only movie they were allowed to watch in the locker room was Rookie of the Year.
That's awesome.
Because obviously, you know, he wanted positive vibes, and in Rookie of the Year, we win the World Series. And I just was actually out there last week throwing out the first pitch for the Cubs and singing the 7th inning stretch, which I've been doing every year since 2008. So the Cubs have a really special place in my heart. You know, my wife is from Chicago. I don't think she would have married me if I wasn't a Cubs fan. Because she is a North Sider, so.
Sure. Absolutely. So what does it mean going to do Wizard World Chicago? I mean, that's got to be almost a second home to you in a way, right?
I mean, Chicago is for sure. I tour there once or twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year with my band, and you know, spent plenty of holidays there with my wife's side of the family. In fact, for Wizard World, my son's been really excited about coming to a Wizard World with me because he keeps seeing all these pictures of all the costumes and everything. And so I'm actually bringing my family with me this time so that they can come to the Comic-Con, to the World Comic-Con, and then also go visit family. But I haven't done Comic-Con in Chicago, so I'm really excited. Wizard World Chicago Comic-Con is going to be my first Chicago Comic-Con. Can I say Comic-Con one more time in that sentence?
Comic-Con. You know, the funny thing is, so Wizard World, so my co-host and I, we both actually worked at Wizard at one point in the 2000s. So Wizard World Chicago was always our favorite show, and it was what was great about it too was all the talent would kind of gather in the bars, and everything was very, you know, centralized. I mean, because you had to take a train to get into the city, so a lot of the comic creators and the talent themselves, you know, would all just kind of say, you know, we just did a convention, let's just hang out at the hotel bar. And it provides some of the best memories. So it's still one of my favorite shows to even go to, just for the nostalgic factor. So I think you're going to have a really great time when you go there. And I think the fans have always been just tremendous. I'm a writer and an artist, and I do my own comic book. And the fans, I mean, they've been with me since 2006. I think you're going to get a really great experience when you go there. I really do.
Oh, that sounds really cool. I mean, yeah, that's kind of been one of the fun part for me too on the side now, outside of getting to, you know, meet fans of people that enjoy my work, is also the hangs with some of my other, you know, actors and castmates, and you know, sometimes I run into people that I work with, like John Heater. He's actually coming to Chicago, but we've done 3 or 4 of these things together now, and we were together in Walt before Mickey playing. I was Walt and Roy Disney.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So he's not just Napoleon Dynamite, but he's also really
Well, I actually like more of that Blade of Glory with that's actually one of my personal favorites when he was in that one. I think that was really great. All right, so last question, and then I know you got some screaming kids, and I can sympathize. So, what superhero would you want to play? If you could play in a Marvel movie, if you could cast in a Marvel movie right now, what would you like? You know, who would you like to play? It could be anybody who could be taken or not taken, though. If you could, you know, if you can take someone that's not taken, maybe who knows? Maybe we can get you a role on a Marvel Studios film.
Well, now that you know, Hugh Jackman played Logan in Logan, does that technically mean he's out? Because they showed him he's finished. So I think I should overtake.
That's his last film.
I should overtake, you know, Wolverine. I think I can get Hugh Jackman, you know, ripped and then, you know, I'm a bit younger, so I've got, like 20 years of playing Wolverine ahead of me.
There you go. And finally, if you did have a superpower, what would you choose?
I mean, I've got to say that, like, flying's cool and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But,
That's always my pick.
I mean, flying's cool, but you got to, like, in order to fly properly or, like, run fast, you got to withstand X. So I'm pretty sure that, like, Wolverine is still kind of, like, top choice, like, you can self-heal. Like, that seems to me. I mean, granted, Superman's invincible, so, I don't know. But
This is true. We're very specific that pick the power. Just pick the power, because I would say who wouldn't be Superman? He's got 8 powers though. So you gotta pick just one. What do you think?
I mean, considering that I've got 2 kids, self-healing sounds
pretty good. Yeah. If my back could stop hurting, I'd be a happy man myself. Thomas, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Secrets of the Sire, we go live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc, and we stream live on facebook.com/Secrets of the Sire. So I hope you check out the show, and I will be at Wizard World Chicago, so I'll make sure to come by to your booth, and I will say hi as well.
Yeah, please do. We're going to have copies of Handbook for Mortals on hand, and I've got the author of the book with me so people can pick up specifically a signed copy, which obviously, you can't get that at Barnes & Noble, but you can get that.
This is true. Excellent. All right, Thomas, thank you so much for joining me, and we will talk again soon.
That was Thomas Ian Nicholas. This is Secrets of the Sire. When we come back, we go spinning the racks.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
Hello, this is Mark Torres.
And Pronto Comics own Dominic Sperano.
And listen to our show, It Came From the Radio, right here on talkradio.nyc, every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about entertainment, movies,
comic books, and other news.
So make sure you check us out. That's right here, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Wednesday, talkradio.nyc.
TalkingAlternative.com.
That might have been the best thing you've ever said, period. Like on the show. I mean, we're not even talking about like your opinions, they're okay. Segue, boom. Yeah. That's where the money's made, my man.
You know what? Now I'm going to end every sentence with boom. Boom. And that's what I do.
Exactly.
Boom.
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 All right. That's enough. That's old already. This show doesn't work when we agree.
Secrets of the Sire.
Welcome back to Secrets of the Sire. I got to, again, thank both of our stellar guests tonight. We really amped it up. Now we've actually set a precedent, though. where we
need
actually have
guests.
to have like really good guests.
It's like a bad Batman sequel
have to do
where like
this.
they have to keep doubling up the villains.
Yeah,
every
right. I mean, this is kind of cool though. We just kind of sit there and we don't really do anything. It's kinda good, so.
it's kind of cool, but then I'm going to be like, why do I need to come down there?
This is very true, actually.
I
This is very
need to
true.
be in the studio.
Well, we do this every week. We go spinning the racks, bringing you the most fantastical pop culture news out there.
Spin the rack, spin the rack.
Don't dub over it. It's terrible. In the "Oops, I was only kidding" category, Casey Affleck was only kidding, according to page6.com. Last week we talked about it. Casey Affleck went on to WEEI's Dale and Holly with Keith, which again doesn't sound real, a radio show on Tuesday before saying he was great about his brother Ben. He's a hero, so he had something to channel and work with there, but he's not going to do that movie, The Batman, I don't think. Sorry to say. When the hosts appeared shocked, a wide-eyed Casey quickly added, "Is that breaking news? I was just kind of making that up." The internet did not believe him. However, fans of Ben as Bruce Wayne have nothing to fear. An insider told Page 6 that Casey was, in fact, speaking in jest, and that Ben plans to remain in the role as long as the studio will have him. Internet reaction too much, then?
Yeah, a little bit. But that means Christina Gilliam was correct when she said that last week. She came actually on the air and said it was a joke.
Do you think Ben gave him like a purple nurple or something, or like a pink belly, or
Who, Casey?
Yeah,
Like,
because that's what older brothers do when younger brothers mess up.
He might have hit him with his car.
A wedge. Sam's right. He's screaming wedgie.
Nah, he hit him with his car. He just outright hit him with his car.
In bizarre but fascinating news, the Joker spin-off film in the works, produced by Martin Scorsese and directed by Todd
Spin-off
Phillips.
of what?
Of the Batman, of the Batman universe. They're going to have
It's not. I thought it was a separate. It's a spin-off from.
Well, it's
from the TV show, right?
From Gotham. No. Let me read. Here we go.
Oh,
a
so it's
spin-off film following the origin of the Joker in the Batman films is reportedly in the works. So we're actually talking about Heath Ledger here.
What?
Let me do the show.
Heath Ledger.
The film, which is in early stages by Warner Brothers and DC, will reportedly focus on an origin story that's never been touched. It is being produced by Martin Scorsese. It'll be done in the vein of Raging Bull, Taxi Driver.
You mean Jared Leto, though?
Yeah, no, we don't know. There's no actor. But Todd Phillips, who directed The Hangover, is attached to direct.
That's crazy.
And he's writing it, too.
That's insaner. That's insaner than crazier.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
we're going to talk more about this
we got to
next
get
week
into
a
that. We
little
got to
bit.
get more detail on that
I think
one.
we definitely
that one's
will.
something we need to watch.
So this is the one problem with having two guests.
We're out of time?
We're out of time. I want to thank Barry Josephson. I want to thank Thomas Ian Nicholas. You
Awesome.
can catch Thomas Ian Nicholas at Wizard World Chicago all weekend long.
You can catch him because you're going to be
You
going.
can catch me at Wizard World Chicago Thursday and Friday only. I'll be wandering the floor. I don't have a booth or a table.
If you catch Dolce, do not try to ransom him because we don't have any money.
Nor do they want me back. I want to thank everyone who supported the Sire Kickstarter. Again, go to michaeldolce.com. We've got 1 week left. We just announced Hassan is going to be doing the cover, which we're going to reveal later this week, either Thursday or Friday, for the New York Comic-Con exclusive. We got a lot of great things going on. Next week, we have a super special guest in studio. My wife. It'll be our wedding anniversary. That is our wedding anniversary gift.
Won't be awkward for me at all.
But she is a Game of Thrones expert, and we are going to be talking season finale Game of Thrones.
Should be big no matter how it goes.
We're
It should
also
be big.
welcome Pizza Tree creator Mark Polton will be calling in as well, too. It's a great new book. It's a children's book. It fits with the Game of Thrones motif. We know how to schedule guests. Secrets of the Sire. See you guys next week.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.
Who do you want to connect with?
Are you an entrepreneur or intrapreneur looking to build your following?
Welcome to our show.
Follow Me Friday with Joan
and Priya.
Tune in every Friday at noon Eastern
on talkradio.nyc.
We're your digital connectors. Woo woo!
Hey, all you crazy listeners. Looking to boost your business? Why not advertise on Talking Alternative with very reasonable rates? Interested? Simply email at info@talkingalternative.com.
Are you into comics, movies, and pop culture at large? What about music and TV? Then you're in for a treat. This is Michael Dolce, your host on TalkingAlternative.com. I've been professionally writing comic books, screenplays, and music articles for almost 15 years. Catch my show, Secrets of the Sire, at its new primetime slot, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and get the inside scoop on the pop culture universe you love to talk about. For more info, go to secretsofthesire.com.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network at www.talkingalternative.com. Now, broadcasting 24 hours a day. Talking Alternative.
Hi, this is Rob Kay.
And I'm Callie Alpert.
And we're hosts of The Rob and Callie Show. Are you looking for a show that talks about real stuff like life, love, the pursuit of being yourself?
Then you have come to the right place because we cover topics ranging from chivalry to gratitude to your relationship with money and everything in between.
So listen to us on The Rob and Callie Show, Tuesdays, 8 to 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to the Talking Alternative Network.